Good afternoon, Boston cream fans, chocolate glazed fans, and jelly donut fans, and welcome to a National Donut Day edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on WWNN Radio 1470, 95.3, and 96.9 on your radio dials. WWNNtalkradio.com on your internet devices, and also now streaming, I guess, and different locations. I haven't put it up on the Facebook, but here we are, a gloomy, rainy, guess tropical storm eve Friday edition of the Lunchbox with Mike Lubitz filling in for Jeff Defo DeForest. How are you today, Lubie?
I am doing well, sir. How are you this seemingly gloomy weekend already? It's what we've been told from
Well,
your favorite people, the meteorologists.
I'm in a tropical depression. It's kind of hard to get motivated when you got I really do get these sinus headaches now, and it's weird. Like as I got older, and I broke my wrist last year, and it's like now I understand people who've had all these aches and pains that you really do feel it when the pressure drops that in your bones that you've damaged in the past. I feel a little something in my wrist. I feel some sinus pain, but enough of my complaining and fetching. Uh, it's still pre-weekend, and we're going to be able to have a good weekend. It's just going to have to be indoor activities, and I don't know. I generally like to do a lot of eating in restaurants indoors. Especially now that I'm triple vaccinated and have ultra protection. But um, yeah, let's talk about this storm. I get a little nuts because the TV people get a little bit hyped up and amped up, and they're showing the swirling red blobs, and oh my God, it's gloom and doom. And let's just kind of set the stage here. Obviously we are now into the official start of hurricane season and tropical
Yes,
storm
sir.
season. As I look on my National Hurricane Service map on their website, the official website at noaa.gov. And that is kind of the best place to get dispassionate and just kind of objective information. It's not a named storm yet. It's
Mm,
still referred to as potential tropical cyclone one. So it's not tropical storm Alex yet. Obviously, that could come at any moment. But if you're looking at the forecast and the projected wind speeds and the forecast cone, what we have here is what we call typical June rainy weather. I mean, it's going to be the winds could be 40 miles an hour, and I think anybody who's lived here in March knows that the wind can blow a steady gale 30 35 miles per hour in March, so it shouldn't hopefully knock down any power lines, and not to downplay it, we could get some heavy flooding and rains, and 8 to 12 inches of rain. So obviously you're in the flood zone, you got to take proper precautions. My neighborhood sometimes gets flooded, and usually it happens in the middle of winter when nobody predicts it. We get some freak downpour like out of nowhere. In 12 hours, we get 8 inches of rain, and then next thing you know, our people are riding up and down my block in kayaks and canoes. Um, and but again, when you know that there's going to be heavy rain coming over the next few days, there are certain areas of my block that are a little bit low lying. I move my car to higher ground. I could park at my brother's condo nearby. Anyway, there's all these things. Just kind of take proper precautions. Know we might get a lot of rainfall. Stay inside this weekend if you don't have to be on the roads. You don't need to get involved. Obviously, with these storms, there could always be these outer squalls, and that sometimes can throw you for a loop because there's always the potential that some little mini like mini hurricane, mini tornado even can spin off some of these storm cells. But again, this is not a major category 3, 4, or 5 storm. This is barely on the edge of a tropical storm. So you don't have to get all amped up, and just relax, enjoy the weekend, catch up on some reading. I might go play a poker tournament tomorrow at the Hard Rock. What do you got on tap, Luby?
I wanted to go to the beach. Last weekend, I didn't go because I thought it was going to be crazy, and you let me know it ended up not being crazy, so that was annoying. This weekend, I was like, okay, we're going to go. And everyone I invited is like, what's wrong with you? This guy's storm coming. So I don't know. I mean, talking to you about restaurants and being at the Sistrunk marketplace yesterday with you, I may have to head out there. I mean, that place looked like a lot of fun and it was closed. I can't imagine what it is when it's open and it's a weekend.
Yeah, no, so last night we had the big finale to the Fired Up competition, and it really went off well because they had the 4 finalists that were involved in, they had a separate area kind of like cordoned off in a room that there was, 2 in each room. They set up their little, serving stations, and people filed in. The ones who had tickets, came filing through and sampling all the different ones, and it was good to see how the different the finalists, and again there was the Nola Creations people that was serving Cajun Creole cuisine. That was Daryl and his wife Anna. There was the Island Made people who were guests on the Lunchbox yesterday, and they did a fantastic job last night as well. And they again, that's the brother and sister combination of Georgette and Ty. And then there was the Arepa couple, and I didn't even get their names, but also kind of a couple that's they've been together. I don't even know how long, but they were serving different styles of arepas. And then the fourth one was a mother and daughter team. So it was like all these two-person teams, and it was really neat to see how they interacted with the crowd. The fourth one was the vegan concept. That was called, I think, it was Green Fit Meals, and everybody was impressed with all the flavors of the food was good. And it's funny because I just got in touch with Steve DePuzzo from Society to Hospitality, and there he's still kind of tabulating and ruminating on things. He got input from the various judges out there last night. I was serving as a judge. Also, Lainey Doss, who's the food and drink editor from the New Times, Miami New Times. Lainey was out there, and a couple of other bloggers. Everybody had some opinions. There's some consensus, and we just tallied up the tickets. Steve sent me the ticket tally of people got to vote, the ones who bought tickets to go to the event, and they cast a ballot for who their favorite was. And I think that's strictly based on the food and the flavor and what they like. And I guess I could share at this point that Island Made eked out the victory in the popular vote. It
Oh,
was
nice.
Island Made
That place was
26.
great.
And then I guess the other, it was really close between the other ones too. It was actually a tie between for second place between Nola and the vegan food. I think the vegan people surprised a lot of just not only the judges but the regular people who came out to eat, because you hear vegan and you think right away, oh, it's like maybe all this like fake stuff, and how does it taste? Or sometimes, like in the early days of the vegan food movement, a lot of the stuff just tasted plain weird. I got to be honest. Like when they were making fake cheese using soy products, or meats using these soy things, it didn't really work. But there's been major advances, and uh, the women who put together the the vegan stand, the Green Fits, they did 3 dishes last night. One of them was a mac and cheese. Now macaroni itself is a vegan thing, and but they used a cheeses that were made from cashew nuts. That these cashew
Okay.
nut pastes now that they use to
Yes.
make some of these vegan cheeses are
Uh-huh.
incredible. I mean, flavor-wise, mouthfeel, because they're very fatty. They're filled with fat, and fat is
Yeah.
flavor.
Okay.
So, instead of getting your fat from dairy, from the cows in cheese, you're getting it from nuts. And
Yes.
vegan food is not necessarily health food, let me tell you, because this. Yeah, go
That's my
ahead.
big thing about vegan is a lot of the time people who are into it are like, it's better for you. The animal thing is a big deal, but it's better for you. It's healthier for you. And then you look at fat content wise, and it's worse. It's like,
Right.
okay.
It depends. It's again, so this mac and cheese, it was just loaded with flavor, and they even got a nice crunchy glaze that with the cashew nut cheeses that they were using. And they used some truffle oils and things like that. So the flavor was on point. And I told them, I said, if you didn't tell me this was a vegan dish, I would never have known. Like the cheese replication was that good with the cashew nut products that they used. That being said, it's obviously loaded with sodium and fat, and they also made jackfruit bao bun. And jackfruit is actually, it's a
Oh,
fruit, but it's a shredded.
man.
It shreds in a way that it kind of also can replicate crab. And they did a crab meat slider, and they did a bao bun that was also like shredded. I think both of them use jackfruit. I might not be clear on that, but again,
Okay.
when you fry it up and you put it on a bun with this kind of fake mayonnaise that uses other products that replicate the fat and the it all tasted good. But
Yeah.
like you said, if you're avoiding meats and animal products for moral reasons, fine. But if it's strictly for health reasons, I'm not sure. Again, there are vegans I know who eat nothing but Oreos and French fries.
Exactly.
Those are both vegan products,
Exactly.
but again, it flavor wise, it was great, and they were right up there. And so I don't know. It's going to be a tough decision because there is no vegan only kiosk at the food hall. And
Hmm.
again, the point is not just what was the best food of the night, but what's the best fit at the food hall, what complements the other offerings there, what is also maybe needed that's not underrepresented. And that's where the Bahamians come in, because there's not many Bahamian restaurants or service places in South Florida, which is strange because there is such a huge Bahamian population here, and we're so close to the Bahamas. And actually, the healthiest bite of all night was what we had for lunch yesterday. That conch salad that they brought
Mm.
out was so light, and again, it's just chopped up conch with all these beautiful vegetable medley with some peppers and the onions and cucumbers and a very bright light sauce, and you could squeeze some lemon on it. That to me was the most vibrant bite, and I love that because that represents the ocean, the sea, which is what we're all about. And then they also did this the chicken in a bag dish, which was really fun. And I don't know if it's necessarily Bahamian dish. I mean, Ty was saying it's something that his mom made for him, and that he basically, it's a pile of French fries, and then they get these grilled pieces of chicken, some drumsticks and thighs, and he has this special sauce, and it's a bit of ketchup, and I think there's some Tabasco and a little bit of Scotch bonnet peppers, and it really kind of hits you in the face. But he shakes this bag up, and then you kind of tear it open, and you're supposed to eat
Mm.
it with your fingers, and you get messy. And but the chicken with the sauce, it had a little sweetness from ketchup, and
Mm.
then the usually I don't like saucy fries, and they get a little they get a little soggy and stuff. But this was just, I just love tearing into it and eating it, and it's just all the flavors were good. So food wise, I think it was a winner, and they had enough diversity, a little seafood and a little chicken. And I think, I don't know that I think they might have the inside track, but it's all going to come down to Steve DePuzzo from Society 8 Hospitality. It's his food hall. He's going to make the final decision, and we'll see what happens. And no matter what he chooses, there's really not going to be any losers, because the people will win. And I think he also said that he runs Sunday brunch out there, so
Oh,
one of the runners up will probably get invited to become regular participants in their Sunday brunch setup. So at least if they don't get the full-time kiosk, they'll at least get in there once a week, and that'll give a chance for some of the people that run catering companies and food trucks a
yep.
chance to get a little
Yep.
foot in the door and get a little bit more seasoning and experience in running a full-time indoor brick and mortar operation. So anyway, thanks to Steve. That was great. It was a lot of fun, and I hope we get to work with them in the future on
Yeah.
other things. And yeah, you and lovely Shirley should get out there tonight, because I did as I am wont to do, I ate way too much. So besides eating all the different offerings from the competitors last night, I went with a buddy of mine, my neighbor, and we drank a couple of beers from Kaufner Brewery. They were excellent. He got some empanadas from the empanada stand. I had a bite of that, and they have this poke place, Poke OG. They also have a stand down in Wynwood at that 1-800 Lucky Asian Market. And
Okay.
I had a bowl of fresh poke, which is cut up
Nice.
raw marinated fish with
Yep.
vegetables served over rice. I didn't eat a lot of the rice because I didn't need any of that. I just wanted to try some of the fish. It was also very good. So yeah, get on out there, because there's a good variety. And the setup there, like we saw yesterday, Lubie, it's nice because they have tables where you could just scan your phone, order it, and they'll deliver it right to your table. So you don't have to go running around. And if you go with a big group and one person wants empanadas and another person wants tacos and another person wants the poke bowls or sushi, they all can get what they want. Nobody has to leave their seats. So it's kind of it's neat, something for everyone.
Yeah, that's what I've been to one in Miami, and I've heard of other ones, and I know Pompano Beach by the Foundry. There's a actual structure for it, but they nothing's in there
What's that?
yet. In like Pompano Beach, right by the Foundry, they actually have a building that's open, not open, but that's empty. That they're trying to do one of these marketplaces for that they haven't done yet. But I really enjoyed that place, and it was just closed, just walking around the way they have it set up. The bars in the middle, they have a stage. Like I can't even imagine what it is on the weekends. Like it's got to be a really good time.
No, Steve was telling me last night they do a really good crowd on Saturdays and Sundays, and a little bit Friday night too. The after work Friday at TGIF crowd. So that's all good. Hey, I guess it's time to take our first break, and it was great being out. Yesterday at the market with Nikki Mohan, and she came out last night with a couple of people from Visit
Nice.
Lauderdale. One of the senior vice presidents was out there, Kamala, and so it's good to see them out, checking out the whole diversity of the food scene there, and that's what we're all about with Visit Lauderdale. Is just that everyone under the sun and every dish under the sun, and that's what we're all about with the Visit Lauderdale segments every Thursday with Neki. Next week, I think we're going to be going out in celebration of Caribbean Heritage Month to a place in Pembroke Pines called Tropics. It's
Nice.
Guyanese food, which brings a little bit of the Caribbean flavors and some like seasoned and jerk chicken, and also with a Chinese influence because apparently a lot of the laborers in Guyana were Chinese,
Oh wow.
Chinese immigrants. So they have these fried rices and noodle. They call it lao mein instead of lo mein, but it's good noodle dishes, and it's yeah, I'm looking forward to get out to visit with them. And again, Lauderdale, Visit Lauderdale, presenting now for the next few months. It's called Lauder Deals, and it's a
Yeah.
fantastic program. If you go to visitlauderdale.com/deals, you'll find out all about that. This summer you could enjoy the good life for less in Greater Fort Lauderdale with Lauder Deals, and that's great deals on dining, hotels, attractions, spas, and more all summer long. And so start planning your summer getaway or your summer staycation online at visitlauderdale.com/deals and see all the ways that you can save. You find great hotel deals on everything from luxury beach resorts to family friendly suites. Indulge in food and drink specials at local restaurants and bars. Shop Lauder Deals for exciting attractions like Flamingo Gardens and Butterfly World. Plus, if you're a Florida resident, a first responder, or in the military, you'll find even more deals just for you. From miles of golden beaches to pampering at celebrated hotels and resorts, the good life awaits in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Shop Lauder Deals now at visitlauderdale.com/deals and plan your best summer vacation ever.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox right here on 1470 WW and also 96.9 FM, 95.3 FM, WWNN talkradio.com. And also, we are streaming. We're working it out. I'm getting the scroll going. Got a lot going on here. Just you can right now. It's on my Facebook page, the Defo Show with Lubie. It's on the Mike Lubick Facebook page. Soon it'll be on Mike Mayo's Facebook page. Where else will we be? We'll be right here next. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, 1470 WWNN.
We're back on a Friday on the Lunchbox. Mike Mayo here with Mike Lubie Lubitz on a dreary gray day. And yeah, I might be cracking open a couple of bottles today of red. Well, not going to drink more than one bottle today, but a couple of bottles over the weekend. But anyway, no, it's going to be some wet weather. I don't know if that'll certainly put a damper on some of the outdoor dining experiences around, but certainly people can still go out and dodge the raindrops and check out some of their favorite places for dinner and brunch this weekend. I'm excited because, well, first of all, today is National Donut Day, and I referenced it at the top of the show. I don't know if you're a big sweets guy, Lubie, but I have a really good donut shop, literally in walking distance, right down the block from my
Nice.
house. It's called the Bake Shack. It's in
Okay.
Dania Beach, and a guy, veteran pastry chef, and really good. He worked at some really high end places. I think he worked at Michael's Genuine Kitchen down in Miami, and he worked at Smith and Walensky as their lead pastry
Ooh,
chef. And Keith is he's funny because his last name is Fryman, and he he fries donuts now.
that's great.
He has a breakfast lunch joint, and he basically cooks. Well, he makes all kinds of great varieties of donuts. The maple bacon donuts. He does like a creme brulee, a mango creme brulee. This time of year, he gets fresh mangoes and he mashes them up and he whips it up with some cream. Anyway, he's a very talented chef, pastry chef, donut maker. But yeah, for Donut Day, I was trying to get him on and I didn't get a response. So he might be just buried in crowds of people lining up for dozens of donuts there at Bake Shack in Dania Beach. And we're blessed. We have some really good donut shops down here, besides some of the old standards like Dandy Donuts. And I don't know
Yeah,
if
I was
you've
gonna say. I thought you were gonna say Dandy because there's a few Dandies around South Florida that every time I pass by, it calls my name.
Yeah, and then there's Mojo Donuts, which is in
Yes,
Pembroke
it's pretty
Pines, right
solid.
next. Yeah, and they have a stand at the Dolphins games at the stadium.
Oh,
They
nice.
sell donuts there, and there are also a couple of locations, one down in Miami, one down on Pines Boulevard there, right next to the Haitian restaurant Casa Champet, where we went a couple of weeks ago. And then there's a guy named Max Santiago who he's like a nomad. He goes from place to place. He always like creates new donut shops. And I think he's in the middle of starting another one, but he had down in Miami. He started the place called the Salty Donut, but then he left there. He was going to try to bring a place of his own up in Davie at near the Flashback Diner. They were going to open a donut stand, but that kind of something happened there, and I guess it was also due to during the COVID and the pandemic. But he has some good stuff, and then for people who are into just the safe and predictable. You got your Dunkin' Donuts everywhere, or they just call it Dunkin' these days, right?
Yes, yes,
And then
yes.
of course Krispy Kreme, where I don't know about you, but remember when it was a fad? Like anytime a new Krispy Kreme donuts opened up, people would camp out days in advance because I think they
Yep.
always had this they had this promotion where like if you were one of the first 100 to get donuts that you would get a not a free year's worth of donuts, but like they had some sort of certificate and people would just camp out. Plus when you see that hot now sign flashing, I don't know about you, but it's yeah, the diabetic in me just like hammers it, just like sugar. I remember I took my daughter there for the first time, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we drive through the one up on Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and just the sign is flashing. We pull up. I say, "All right, give us a dozen." She's like, "Daddy, why are you getting a dozen?" I was like,
Mm.
well, we'll just save it for later." She opens
No
it
way.
up. She takes the first bite.
Pounded it.
She like shoveled the first thing down in about
Pounded
10
it.
seconds, like, and then next thing you know, like 2 minutes and four donuts late, like she scarfed down, I think six of them in about 5 minutes, and then she was hooked ever since. So
It's so funny. Like I'm not the biggest Krispy Kreme fan, but when they're fresh like that, it's like fresh challah, like
oh,
fresh bread. Like it's hard to not eat like three in the first like 3 seconds. Like
yeah, it's cane crack, just cane sugar. Just yeah, you can't stop at just one. So a happy donut day if you're
there
into
you go.
these silly made up food holidays. But I thank Jim Sorry for reminding me. And yeah, one of these days we'll get Keith on just to talk about his whole path, because he actually started off. He's a guy from Queens and New York, and he started off at his local bagel shop. He would bake
Oh wow,
bagels when he was like 14 years old, and get up at 5 in the morning. And now he also has to wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and bake donuts. But you know what? He says it's nice because he's got the afternoons and evenings off now. He's in there early. He gets done
nice.
working by 11 or 12, and then he gets a few hours of sleep. It's a different lifestyle than some of the regular. When you work at those dinner places and Smith and Walensky, you're there all night, especially if you're the pastry chef and you got to be there until the last diners finish their last desserts. And so it's a little bit different lifestyle, but still long hours. And we appreciate everybody in the business who is always so dedicated. I'm trying to think what is. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about today, Lubie. Well, let's talk a little sports for a second here because
Sure.
we had game one of the basketball last night, and what were your thoughts? The Heat's not involved, but the team that vanquished the Heat now put a little bit of a surprise spin on this whole thing by winning game one on the road, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I underestimated the Celtics in the sense that I really thought this series was going to be all about the Warriors, and wherever the Warriors go is where the series goes. And I would, if I was betting, say would go six, but I could have seen it going five. And it feels like the Warriors controlled the game for the most part until the fourth quarter, and then the bottom fell out, and the Celtics took advantage of every opportunity. I mean, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and Derek White couldn't miss, and the Warriors helped them by letting them. Like it was a very weird fourth quarter because the Warriors were built a nice lead in the third quarter, and then it just the tides turned, and it felt like the Warriors, who are used to turning it on and off, couldn't turn it back on, and the Celtics sort of cruised the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, and I was mentioning this on the Morning Defo show. We spent some time together with my gambling gourmet alter ego,
Yes, sir.
and I was mentioning how the best of Delray Beach head honcho Stephen Dickstein, or Dickstein as I like to call him. He's a huge NBA fan, and last night I was texting him before the game started when I was still up at the marketplace, and just said, "What's your prediction? What do you think?" He said the Warriors in 6, and I said Celtics in 7. And next thing you know, I have my
Another
second bet
bet.
of this playoff series, of this playoff season. And I'm 0-1 now because obviously I still owe you and Defo dinner from the Panthers squeaking past the lowly eighth seeded Capitals in the first round. But I made that ridiculous bet about them losing in the first round because they had never won a playoff series in 26 years. All right, they snapped that jinx, but all they did is go to the next round and then never, show any signs of life, and they got swept by Tampa Bay. So I owe you and Defo dinner, and we will settle that bet when Defo gets back from Italy. I think he's going to be back on Tuesday, right?
Yes, he'll be back on air Tuesday. He'll be back in the States Sunday at some point, and he'll be back on air Tuesday.
Okay, great. And I haven't seen any really postings on social media. I was taunting him the other day because I really think he's at the Venetian in Vegas and not
Vegas.
Venice in Italy, but apparently he is in Rome. And we'll take his word for it. And I'm looking forward to hear all about his adventures and his eating experiences in Italy, which is one of the great eating
Mhm.
countries of the world. But anyway, back to Dickstein in Delray Beach. And by the way, download that Best of Delray Beach app at Best of Local. Search for Best of Local on the App Store and Google Play. And if you're looking for a cool restaurant or bar or night spot to head to this rainy weekend in the Delray Beach area, you could find everything you want very conveniently on the app. But that's my shameless plug of the day. But Dickstein, I basically said, all right, well, how about you take the Warriors? I'll take the Celtics. But this time I was wiser and I got odds. So
Good
I
man.
stand to win. I stand to win 125, and he stands to win 100, which is fair enough because I think the line was it's 135 on the betting lines. The Celtics will plus 135, and I'll just take the 125. And again, I passed out after eating and stuffing my face, and I got back home And I made it to about the beginning of the third quarter, and next thing I know, I woke up and it was like 12:30, and I had to rewind my TV, and I saw the final score, and then I rewound a little bit the last couple of minutes, and I saw that Boston was just draining everything. And again, my thinking on this was I thought that the Celtics are battle tested and tough, and even though you might not be impressed with any particular player and they don't wow you, I just think they're a team that right now is bigger than the sum of their parts, and they're playing well, and they're finding what it takes to win. You know, when you win a tough game 7 on the road against the Heat, it shows something, and they've had a tough path. I mean, they beat the Bucks in 7 games, and Giannis is one of the best players in the league, if not the best player. And Jimmy Butler now is, you could say, maybe was the most dominant person in the playoffs, and they got past those 2 teams. So when you get past those 2 tough outs, and you survive, you basically are battle tested. And I don't see the Warriors. They kind of coasted here. They got a lucky break when Phoenix got bounced out, and they didn't really have to break a sweat. And then last night, I think that showed, right? At Lubie, it just seemed like they weren't really engaging, and they didn't want to play that tough, tenacious Eastern Conference style D, and they just were kind of a little bit soft, right?
Well, and that's the thing is the Warriors are a much better defensive team than people give them credit. But if you've watched them the last 8 years, they do have these moments where they sort of just give it away offensively, and that puts them in a hole defensively. But they're usually able to turn it on. And the difference with this team, you actually are right, and I didn't think about that. And that's where you covering the sport for so long sort of comes into play. I took it as, well, the Warriors were playing the competition they played. They're just that much better. But we've heard this for years, like when a team's undefeated, and a lot of the times people, and I think it's sort of dumb, like you never want to lose, but if you're not in a tough outing, then when things get tough, do you know how to handle it? And the Celtics have been in those, and the Warriors haven't.
Yep. So we'll see. Game 2 is Sunday. A little bit spacing in these NBA finals, but that's okay. We need a breather, and we got hockey to fill in the gaps. The Rangers are playing Game 2 tonight against Tampa, trying to go up 2-0 at home at the Garden, and that would be a nice thing to do and get that cushion because Tampa Bay is tough. But rooting big for the Rangers, rooting now for the Celtics, strangely enough, because I got money on the line, and that always makes you a lot more interested. Anyway, so if I actually win this bet, or maybe to repay the old debt that I still owe you and Defo, I'm thinking Tropical Acres.
Nice move.
It's been around since 1949, 73 years. Hard to believe. It's a South Florida institution, and they've been around this long for a reason, because they do a great job with beautiful food, tremendous hospitality, and the best value in town. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road. It's just west of the airport and I-95. And it's going to be a perfect place tonight on a rainy night, because you can go in there, and besides going in for early bird at 4:30, where you get all kinds of extras for the first hour, or you could go to the bar for the first 2 hours, 4:30 to 6:30, all kinds of half-price drinks and light bites, great deals. Or just go into the dining room. There's going to be a piano player tonight. There's going to be a nice, casual but elegant setting. And best of all, tonight, Friday night, they still have got the Twin Lobster special going. That's freshly steamed live Maine lobsters for $35. That includes salad and side dish. You can't beat that deal. Go into Tropical Acres. And, of course, Monday, Tuesday, half-price wine night. That's when I like to go, because then you really get a great deal between the Twin Lobsters and a half-price bottle of great wine. You could get out of there for less than it cost me to just have a breakfast with my daughter last week at some little place. Incredible. That's why I love Tropical Acres. You get a premier dinner, steaks, lobsters, wine for incredibly good values. Go there. Again, they're closed on Sundays. They also have a butcher shop if you want to get steaks for just throwing on the grill or cooking at home. The butcher shop dining room is open from Monday through Saturday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
Mike Mayo's Lunchbox is soon to return right here on 1470 WWN. And again, we have the FM covered as well, 96.9, 95.3, depending on where you are in South Florida. If you want to hear us everywhere, no problem. WWNN, talkradio.com. Plus, we are streaming live video Just the Default Show Facebook page. At some point, Mike Mayo's Facebook page, Mike Lubis' Facebook page. We're everywhere. We're also right here next. More of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on 1470 WWNN.
We're back on the Lunchbox. Mike Mayo, Mike Lubie Lubitz, getting into the weekend. I don't know. It was a short week because of the holiday, but now it feels like it's been a very long week. I'm
Yes.
exhausted. I've been around eating. And, during the break, I was just watching. Ryan told me, working the boards there back at WWNN headquarters, but he told me that Stool Presidente, David Portnoy himself of One Bite Pizza fame, Barstool Sports fame, and, he's living down here now. Last I heard, he was actually living in Fort Lauderdale for a month. He had taken up some temporary digs. And so he's been hitting a lot of the pizza places around South Florida and reviewing them. And, last month he went into our friends at, not last month, I guess it was April.
A couple
He
months
went
ago.
out to our friends in, at Pizza Spot. And of course, Wade and Reese, they do a great job with the New Haven style pizza. And they're gone on vacation now for a couple of weeks. They're back on June 14th. But David Portnoy just dropped a review yesterday of Costa's Greek Pizza, Greek
Nice.
Eatery and Pizzeria in Pompano.
Nice.
And what kind of, the fortuitous timing, they just came on as sponsors this week on the Lunchbox, Costa's. And it's at 1940 Northeast 49th Street in Pompano Beach. And it is, I just think it's it's a distinct place because they have, besides great Greek specialties like the pasticcio and the spanakopita, that's the Greek lasagna, and the Greek spinach pie, and the souvlaki, and the gyros, some people say. But
There
they've
you
got
go.
this Greek style New York pizza.
Mm.
It's thin and it's crispy, and it's got a little bit of sheen of oil, olive oil, and I thought it's very good. That's why I wanted them aboard as sponsors, because I like representing places that do things right. And sure enough, Dave Portnoy went in there, and Costas, who's a real character, he put on a show. He started smashing plates and saying "Opa," and he knew exactly who Dave was, and Dave was filming. Actually, the way I heard is he picked up a pizza, ate it, and then came in, and they kind of did a whole spiel. But Dave Portnoy gave a very favorable review. It looks like a 7.6 for
Nice.
the pizza, and which in his world is good. He said he liked the thinness, he loved the crispiness, and that's what you get at Costas. But it's just it was kind of neat because he also got hooked up with some of the pastries there that Alicia makes, and she makes a baklava that is just tremendous. And you know what baklava is, that kind of phyllo
Yes.
dough, the very thin with the sweet honey drizzle and some pistachio nuts.
That's it.
Well, they get Portnoy took a bite of that, and he said 7.9 on the pastry, so that's strong.
Nice.
And he also was he I guess he liked the joint so much, he was talking about on the video that he's got to get Guy Fieri, because Guy Fieri is now a South Floridian. I think he's got a pad up in Lake Worth. He said he's got to get Guy Fieri down there to do a segment on Costas for Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. So
Nice.
a diner, on the Food Network. And so I'm going to take all the credit for that and just say that all this bounce and publicity and business is no, I don't know. They do a great job. Obviously, Costas, the food and the personality, it speaks for itself. But it's always good to have the lunchbox bump, and we're singing their praises. And I wrote some kind words about him a couple of months ago, I think, on Let's Eat South Florida, because again, it's one of these places that's kind of hidden and you don't know about it. It's off the beaten track, but it's like such good value. That's I love finding these places, and congrats to them for getting all this good publicity, and I'm sure it's hopefully going to translate with lots of crowds coming in there and checking out some of these great pies. Again, they do that gorgonzola spinach pie that I also love, because it's distinct and it's more of a Greek spin on pizza. And yeah, you can check it all out. Go onto their website, Costas. It's with a K. Costas Greek Pizzeria. The website, Costas Greek Eatery Pizzeria.com. That's
There you go. Well, and that's the thing is, working and doing stuff with you, it makes me not only I eat food differently, but I'm one constantly hungry, which is annoying, and I I'm constantly thinking about where the next meal's coming. And you talked about Coasters so much recently that it's like, okay, how do I not stop by Coasters and check this place out?
Well, you're in luck, because we're going to be there doing the show on Tuesday. So you will
Yes.
get to,
Nice.
we're going to have our first remote show out there. And I'm sure it's going to be packed with people, because they're going to see this on the Portnoy review and want to come check it out for themselves, and also hear about it on the Lunchbox and on Let's Eat South Florida. And yeah, I'm looking forward to our going to be paying once a month visits out there to do the shows. It's usually going to be on Tuesdays, and it's going to be starting up this Tuesday from 12 to 1. Come on out and have lunch with us out there. Meanwhile, I guess, you know what? Let's take the last break, and then we'll maybe talk a little hockey, a little Coco Golf, and tennis, and the French Open. She's going for her first Grand Slam title tomorrow morning. And my thoughts about my weekend plans. It's involving, again, more gluttony. So we'll be back on the Lunchbox after these words. All right. It's the weekend. I hear that chicken fried song. It means the weekend is here on the lunchbox. Hope everybody out there is doing well, staying safe, staying dry as we get ready for the approach of potential tropical cyclone one. Run for your lives. No, don't. Just take it easy. It might be tropical storm Alex by the end of the day, and the National Hurricane Center is advising that South Florida faces the threat of potential heavy rains, downpours, and flash and urban flooding. So, again, be careful at night because sometimes when you're going down those roads and you can't really see real well, and it might be all door high in water and you don't know about it. So, it's best to just kind of stay home. And if you don't know where you're going, just don't go down that road if it looks like it could be a little bit flooded. That's my advice to you today. So Lubie, I was talking about we got Coco Golf, Delray Beach's
Yes.
own. She makes best of Delray Beach because not only she's the best tennis player from Delray Beach in a while, but probably the best from the Florida Peninsula since one maybe. Well, I know Jennifer Capriati had a big splash when she started, but she didn't
Roddick.
sustain. And of course, we had Roddick, and then Chris Everett right now is the reigning
Yep.
queen,
Yep.
number one all time, Floridian, Fort Lauderdale's own. But now Coco Gauff is trying to make her mark in the tennis world, and she's only 18 years old. She's made a nice progression, and she has made her way into the finals of the French Open in Paris at Stade Roland Garros, and the final will be tomorrow morning. I believe it's 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. East Coast time.
Yeah.
It'll be on
So
NBC. Yep.
I think
And
it's 9.
I should know who she's playing, but I don't. I think it's the world number one.
Swiatek.
Yeah,
Swiatek.
is that the world number one, or is that
Yes. Yes.
okay?
Yes.
So she's got herself quite a little test in store, but maybe it's her time. She's been playing really good tennis, and she's been winning in straight sets, and it looks like this, it might be the moment. And we'll see if she could peel this one off. Then Wimbledon and the U.S. Open are around the corner, and then the sky's the limit. So, are you excited? Do you know much about her? Have you heard much buzz from our resident tennis expert Harvey Fialkov about Coco?
Yes, actually, the last couple years since when we were having talking to Harvey each and every week on the Defo show, he talked a lot about the South Florida locals and one first, yeah, of course, Osaka because she was number one in the world, but then also Sloane Stevens, Madison Keys, Pagula, and Coco Gauff, who is from South Florida. I mean, her father. It's funny, the professor who you'll see every Friday on the Defo show doing his top five grew up as like best friends with her father. So she literally, her bloodlines come from South Florida. She was raised in South Florida. And the last couple of years, she's been a big deal. And it's really exciting to see her finally get to the French Open finals. And I know all of South Florida will be behind her.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Now, my weekend plans, I'm going to be watching some Coco on Saturday. And then
There you
on
go.
Sunday, one of my best buddies is celebrating a birthday. So his wife, she was like looking, where should we go for dinner? And she invited me along because I've known the guy since high school and we were college roommates. Happy
Wow.
birthday, Mark Schweitzer.
Happy
And
birthday.
so I said, you know what? Let's forget dinner. Let's do the fancy schmancy deluxe buffet at the Hard Rock in Hollywood. That it's right now. It takes place at Kuro restaurant. It's their high-end Japanese sushi place. It used to be located at the um, Council Oak Steakhouse, but I was there for Mother's Day. I took baby mama Michelle and my daughter there. And it was funny how I was talking and complaining yesterday about the place where I just had like an ordinary breakfast for two with just coffee and no booze, and it was like $70 for two people. And I walked out of there feeling like, well, how did that just happen? That was like, that's the opposite of value, where you just feel like
Yep.
like not ripped off, but almost, like the food was good, there was nothing wrong, but it just like you said, had that happen. Now, this place, Kuro, it has caviar service. It has raw bar with like king crab legs and two kinds of oysters, East Coast and West Coast, and all this kind of fresh sushi. And they've got a carving station of prime rib and lamb chops, and yeah, it's a pretty penny. It's like $110 per person, but it
Oh,
comes with
jeez.
unlimited either the mimosas or the bloody marys, or you could just get regular vodka drinks. And so like I spent almost $500 for three people. during Mother's Day, and I walked out saying this was a great deal. It was all high quality stuff, and it was like, okay, you save it for a splurge, and luckily this time I'm not paying, but I got invited along, and so it's going to be really good because it's with OPM, other people's money. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the Kuro brunch buffet on Sunday. That's going to wrap it up. I'll tell you all about it on Monday because that's what I do. I just eat too much and talk about it. Hey, Lubie, thank you. We'll see you again on Monday. That'll be your last stint in relief for Defo.
Yes,
And have a
sir.
great weekend. Stay safe. Stay dry, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Lunchbox. This is Mike Mayo saying, remember to enjoy every sandwich.